Boom. We gotta be over here. You're live in front of thousands of people.
Thousands. Shit, okay.
Alright, we got SORTA sessions. SORTA sessions are little brainstorming sessions to talk about a topic, maybe figure out possible ideas. Today I brought Margaret. Margaret is a teacher in New York. And you can imagine what it's like right now. Flora and I have been talking about what the possibilities of Lucas going to school are going to be, but I wanted to pick your brain since you're front line, probably in a really hot spot of how teaching was before, what you did during quarantine, and how do you think it's going to go down, and just general thoughts. If you could, you want to start with a quick background of, she's from LA, how you ended up in New York teaching young kids.
Alright, so I'm from South Central, so I'm a product of LAUSD. I went to some of the worst high school, middle school areas. Then I ended up at UCLA, and then I applied to TFA, and then
Worked
got
your
into
face off to get to UCLA.
Yeah, well, in high school.
During that time, did you know the school system that you were in? And was that a motivator, or how did you become so motivated to be a teacher now?
I think it's generational, because like for my grandma always told us education is important. And then I think my brother was a driving product too, because he's a straight up nerd, so all he does is study and talk about...
He's older than you?
Yeah, he's oldest. I'm the youngest of four. So my brother went to UCLA, my sister went to UCLA, and then my oldest sister went to Cal State.
Oh, so you're like, I have to do this. I have no choice.
It was no choice at that point.
What do you think motivated them?
I think
Were your parents first, or they migrated here?
Yeah, so they migrated here, but I only grew up with my dad, so he was in and out, but he was mostly in, but my grandma raised us, so my grandma was like, you have to learn how to read and write, because my grandma didn't know how to read or write.
Flora and I talked about this the other day. Like,
yeah.
Our grandparents did not know how to read and write, and now where we're at, I'm like, dude, we're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
This is insane.
My grandma, I don't think she could ever imagine like learning how to read. She didn't know how to read in English, speak English, read Spanish. She knew how to speak English. The only thing she knew was basic math, and got through her whole life being a businesswoman with just basic math.
Why do you think? Because I see unfortunately, other Latinos fail. Why do you think that they fail? And why do you think you and I have maybe made it out of that pocket?
I think it's a mindset thing, and then like accountability. So at least for me, like my brother and sisters, they were doing shit. So I was like, I can't be like a fuck up. Like I don't have.
You
time.
felt that pressure. It was good
I felt that pressure. It was good pressure, and my grandma.
I feel like there's not that shame anymore.
Oh yeah, there's not.
Like it's like some of those things that are shameful are actually positive.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, like, as a teacher, though, because, like, if you teach, like, I teach in the hood, so I teach in Brooklyn. So, like, I think there's aspects of you need to bring, like, toughness to it, because if you don't, then...
They'll walk over you.
They'll walk over you,
I mean, I remember as a kid, if I don't have no respect for you, I'm going to fucking walk over you.
Yeah, because they're testing you. So, like, if someone comes up to you and says, like, what's your name? You have to say who you are and say with pride, but then,
with your chest, and look at someone in the eyeballs. You don't know if you're like... Yo, this low-key could be a fight.
Yeah, because you never know. And then, I think that's what it was. But the motivation was just education, at least. And then just seeing, like, different pockets of it. Because, like, I'm the youngest of four full siblings, like dad and mom. But I had older siblings with my mom's side. So she was, like, her kids were, like, OG Cholas, like my stepsister, my half-sisters. OG Cholas growing up in East LA. And my brother, half-brother, was too. He was an OG Cholo.
Do you think kids back in the day or now in the day are more motivated? Because I'm around a lot of high school kids, and way different from what I remember being a high school kid.
I mean, it depends on who you're looking at, though. So if we're talking about class and race, I think it depends. Because there's a form of entitlement that comes with white folks or folks who are higher class.
Yeah.
Than those who are...
But, like... Did you grow up, because we grew up with 90s hip hop, I remember in middle school, like, pretending and trying to be a gangbanger. And the internet's kind of switched kids now.
Well, the mindset is different, though.
Yeah. What do you see?
Well, I grew up with, like, YG and Nipsey Hussle. Like, that was, like, my thing, like, for my generation. So I think the narrative has changed where... Now, instead of you looking at, like, people from your area, you're looking at like the whole world or the whole United States. So it's a comparison thing. So I think it comes down to you're idolizing a life that you didn't have or that you're not in because of wealth. And then that creates like self-esteem issues, and then it layers on.
Yeah. Well, okay, so how did you end up in New York, and what was your first experience teaching?
Okay, so I ended up in New York through TFA, so Teach for America. So I applied. It was either here or LA because I knew if I was going to teach, I only wanted to teach in areas in need and for people who look like me. I went to like an all black and brown school, so I only wanted to teach black and brown students. So I ended up in New York. The first place I taught was like my learning curve.
Yeah.
It was like high school students like going into 9th grade, like 8th graders going to 9th grade who are taking Algebra 1.
That's tough.
And then I was also teaching 10th graders and 11th graders who failed Algebra.
Okay,
And
do you think, because you're still young and you look young, was that an obstacle?
I think so, but I think it was like you weigh the pros and the cons, so I feel like I could relate to that basically.
Yeah.
But like for the high school
I
one,
guess I could see it. You wouldn't fight.
I was,
You wouldn't try to act like an older adult. I'm like, well, let me talk to you.
yeah. So for high schoolers, it was like that thing, and it's just like pulling them to the side and being like, you know what, like I feel the disrespect, like you need to cut it out, and just respecting them because they feel the bullshit, they see through it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay, so how was that first experience?
For high schoolers, I thought that was like, I think high schoolers are more independent. So from 8th grade to 9th grade, I think there's like a hormonal shift or like a mindset shift. So they're more like either they do the work or they don't.
You can start to see it already.
Yeah.
They already kind of made it routine.
Yeah. So like my old principal used to say, it's easier to build men and women
So
than
middle
to
school was where you're at. Yeah.
So now I teach middle school. So I feel like middle school is a different learning curve. Like that's like a out of world experience. Like
middle school is hard. Like elementary school, they're still kids. They're still
kids.
innocent. They're still wanting to play. They're playful.
But they listen. So they listen and they respect authority.
Yeah.
Some do, right?
Middle school start testing.
They're testing you. So I feel like if you go into the mindset of I'm better than you as a teacher or as an educator, then they see your bullshit. Especially if you look kind of young. So then you have to like cut that out real quick.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's like mixing like playfulness, strictness, and just talk
I got
about.
your back, but you fucking need to put out.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, look, if you don't do this, then I can't help you anywhere else. Like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so now you have 6th graders.
Yeah.
How is 6th grade?
The 6th grade is like.
You do science.
Yeah, science.
Just general science.
General science. So it's like energy, like ecosystems. It's just
Are they
very
interested
general.
in it? Or
They
is that
are.
hard?
It's hard. They're interested-ish, but I think the thing that makes it hard is that my students, they have like they're unable to read at grade level, so they're very low grade level learners.
So even to teach is hard. Like
Even
the
to
actual teaching is hard. Like the concepts are like.
Yeah.
So it's mostly easier just to talk.
It's easier to talk and then like just bring examples in and like hands-on things.
See and feel.
Yeah.
Touch, do.
But then at the same time, if you're working at like these areas or Title I schools that aren't properly funded, you don't have the supplies.
Oh my god.
So then you just have to verbalize it. All right, guys, so this is what we're gonna do, and then they just look at you. And if they don't get it, then you have to make up. Like it puts you on the spot, so you're always like, you don't understand it. So let's go here.
Oh, so so you know what I feel like.
Yeah, so you're like,
you're on
all
the
right.
spot, you're problem solving.
Like I'm like, okay, they get it over there. I'm like, you do you right here. You come sit with me. We're gonna work on this, and then you guys. I'm like, if there's like a pair in the room, like read with them.
Yeah.
Like get through this with them.
Do you get a lot of help from volunteer or parents?
No. So parents are hesitant to come. We're also up a 4 flight stairs. We're the top floor of a building, so like that's an obstacle too. So parents don't want to come up.
I don't even.
Some parents aren't able to come up. So parents only really come if there's behavior issues.
Okay, we'll come back to behavior issues. How much freedom? Because where my mind is like I'm trying to see where we can maybe improve school systems or your opinion of it.
Okay.
Like give teachers more freedom, obviously try to fund them more.
Mm-hmm.
What are maybe things that are broken and what are maybe things that you've liked?
I think like at least at my school, I have autonomy over my classroom, so that's something that I like. But I think that
Are other teachers as motivated as you?
no. So the thing is like some teachers already know what to do. So
Yeah.
like, but they're not like learning new.
So they're complacent.
They're complacent.
So they've been there forever, and
they're
just
like, well, I'm just gonna
chilling.
go with the flow. And then, but also too, if you have like a principal who
Is also complacent
also
or is
complacent,
progressive. So
progressive,
it depends on
yeah,
the leadership.
and then leadership is this way. So I think like education is you have to be very direct in leadership, but then everyone has their own agenda. That's the thing. When it comes to education, what I started to realize is just it's like a political system with everyone's running their own agenda.
So it's good and bad that you have autonomy, but for those that are not motivated, it screws everyone else
Yeah.
up. Do you guys, as teachers on the same campus, feel like a team, or do you feel very independent?
For at least for myself, like so the age groups range from like I'm the youngest, so I'm 23, and then like the oldest is like 50 something.
Yeah.
So like there's the crew of like the older women,
Yeah.
and then I usually just
Do
stick
you-
to myself. I talk to everyone, but like
So you don't feel like a team. There could be better camaraderie.
there could be, but it's just like that thing of like
Every man for himself.
every man for themselves, or unfortunately education there's
So
always a-
structurally and organization-wise, just a lack of leadership.
Yeah, that's because principals come in and out of schools though.
Oh, so they don't even have time to build.
So they don't. So they build, but they're like, but is it worth me building when I just could push forward my agenda?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Okay, so how would we maybe better that? Do we force mandated 4 years, 5 years for principal before they're allowed to leave?
I mean, for middle school, think of it. Middle school is 3 years. So in
Yeah.
order to change,
You probably need you need 6 years.
You need 3 years to change the culture of a school.
Because yeah,
You
you
need
need
the
6 years.
graders. You start off with the sixth graders. So the sixth graders are seeing what the seventh and eighth graders are doing.
So you just
But you're
hold
still
on.
able to
Yeah.
change small
Minimum
things.
3 years.
Yeah,
But you barely figured it out. So you really need 5 years
I think 5 years at least if you're in a
before
principal.
you're allowed to move out
Yeah,
and build your team.
yeah.
That's one. What about money wise?
I think money.
You lack money in school?
Yeah, I think so. Cause like the desks that I have are probably like 20 years old.
Like even the basic shit.
Yeah, the basic stuff is like 20 years old. at
I've
least.
always thought, and I don't know any numbers or any of the things that we do, but a lot of our problems stem, in my opinion, from one, parents, which were kids before. So like you go back
Yeah.
to schools, so we can build better students from the start. We may be able to solve a lot more problems because we're more emotionally intelligent and technically intelligent. So like, what if our world looked like 2 of you per class, and actually everyone's got the resources? Like we should be pumping out better people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
I mean, we'd have to take cuts elsewhere or raise money on other stuff.
But that's the thing. People don't value the public school education system because the people who are creating policy for it don't send their kids most of the time to public
That's
schools.
also
So they don't see that dynamic. So they either go to private or charter, and even then, some charter schools are mal-equipped as well.
Am I bad for sending Lucas to a private school?
I mean, I feel like Lucas is getting a head gain than someone going.
That's
to
what I
like
think.
It's a heads
Well,
up.
because
That
so I went to public middle school. I started to fuck up, so I got sent to private high school, and it changed me. Low key is just a bunch of rich white kids, so that's
Yeah.
like the difference. Floor did the same thing. We both ended up at LMU.
Okay.
So in my mind, I feel like wherever we could, we kept climbing.
Yeah,
right?
but
And now that we have that, well, Lucas, here's the jump start from elementary school. I hope.
But okay, so I think about those things too. I'm like, is it a heads up? It is a heads up if you go to like a private school because I think they funnel money into education. So they
Yeah.
put money into education because they know parents are going to advocate in private schools because if parents are paying, they're not going to want their kids not reading at grade level type of thing.
Yeah.
But I think private school, it plays with the mindset of a child.
Oh, okay. I
So
can see that.
So
That's
like,
what I worry about. So I'm like, dude, I don't know if you're gonna realize how bougie you are, so I have to punch you in the face.
yeah, so it's like that tough love. So I think that's what it is. Like if
It has to
you're
come from somewhere
if you're
else.
like Duke is at least like a Latino boy going to
Bougie school your
bougie
whole
school,
life.
yeah. So that mindset, so you're gonna think that you're entitled or you have the same privileges,
if you don't receive getting punched in
Punch
the
the
face,
face, yeah.
by
Because
someone.
the reality of the world is like at crossroads right now. It's like, or at the school, right?
Yeah.
They're not really seeing, like, they're just teaching the student versus the real world is they're just gonna look at
They
the,
do a pretty good job of trying to. They like talk about stuff. They'll try to as best they can expose them. But I feel like we grew up walking the halls of our school watching our back.
yeah. So like for me,
You know
like
what I
I'm
mean?
very quiet, but it's a reason. Like so I'm quiet because
We
I'm always
we
observing.
walk around the street. We walk
And I'm
around
just
like
like
that.
this.
Because you're always watching your back. I'm gonna get jumped. Someone's gonna jack me. Just on the defense all the time,
Yeah,
right?
so
Like,
I'm
you're
always
gonna
gonna be-
walk around with the world and just like I can't have you walk around.
Not knowing because it's
So
like
I'm always smacking him. Dude, pay attention.
yeah. I feel like that's what like my little cousin. She went to like a very like good like public school.
Yeah.
So now she's in high school, but now she goes to high school that's like, and like students come from like different parts of Brooklyn. So it's not from like the Greenpoint area, which is like wealthier. So you could tell like she's like, I don't understand what's going on. Like I don't fit in with this circle because like I don't get like their like cultural norms just because like I grew up over here. So it's just like her tagging along those two ideas.
There is a little fire and feisty of growing up like that. It's just finding the balance.
It's finding balance. Like, unfortunately, like you have to code switch. Like that's the.
Okay, so this is what I see right now. So there's a lot of tension, racial tension. The quarantine's making it worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hang out, as you can see, with a bunch of different types of people, and just trying to explain to our Caucasian friends or white friends, what is it like? You know what the quarantine feels like to you? I mean, you can't like do stuff and you're tiptoeing. That's what our life feels like.
Yeah.
All the time. That's how we grew up.
Yeah. So I think it runs.
Right?
Yeah. No.
And you're just like, well,
like,
here's the restraints that I have for us. This is what I'm gonna operate, and like,
And then
keep my
you
mouth
gotta
shut,
figure
and
it
I'm
out.
gonna do the best I can in these restraints.
yeah. I mean, with that, true. But I think like the added pressure is that like, even with like what's going on like with the protests and like the killings of black bodies, like within that, like you see the dynamics of how race plays a critical role. Because I think that the Eric Garners, the Breonna Taylors of the world, the Amadou Aubreys, like they would have not been the George Floyds, right? These people, like these names would have not been said if the quarantine wasn't here because
That's true.
because
It's
folks weren't
kind of a
at home.
blessing.
Yeah,
They wouldn't have cared.
they would not care. They would have been like, well, I gotta go to do this right now, so like I'm not gonna go protest.
It
It's
might
like-
actually be a perfect storm for people opening up their eyeballs.
Yeah, because if not, then like it's unfortunate that it took a quarantine for people to understand that people of color and black people are always disenfranchised within the system.
All the time.
All the time.
Everything.
All the time. People are just they just like, it's just like something you can't understand but you can empathize with for like black folks, but like as Latinos we burden, or people of color we burden similar,
Yeah.
but not as enhanced.
Yeah, we sit somewhere in the middle of this like weird bubble.
Yeah, and that becomes difficult too, because then you're like, also like I think for me at least it's like I feel like sometimes I should carry the laborious work of educating for my black friends or like for black folks, because I feel like why is it that they have to advocate for themselves? Like I have a portion of their experience, if not even a whole portion, I could empathize.
Oh, we almost get lost, you're saying.
Yeah, so I
get
feel like
lost in the mix.
you get lost in the mix because either you're anti-black as Latinos, or
That's true. That's also true.
either there's anti-blackness in Latino culture, and then either you're for it. But like, if you're anti-black, you're just perpetrating a system of oppression.
Yeah.
So it becomes like multi-layered.
Yeah, I don't know if people know, because it's like a Latino black fight. You're like scraping for
Yeah,
the
so
bottom.
that's the thing. But then the thing is, it's like even within like every culture or like every like Latino area, like you could talk about DR, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, everywhere, Cuba, there are black folks who are all these things, but we don't experience the same things.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the education. When the quarantine hit, how did it affect you? the things that I've observed, fortunately, because we talked about Lucas's situation, his school experience at home, virtual, was good. I've heard and seen teachers not being technically literate
Okay.
and having trouble with that, and then I imagine accessibility for kids who just don't have that must be hard. What did you experience?
I think we went to the like Google Classroom setting, and like I did like Zoom sessions or like we
Did it feel natural for you because you're younger? Or?
I feel so. Like I didn't have a problem. Like I don't really care. Like I'll just like if I'm talking to you, I'll talk to you. I don't care if they take photos or like do anything like that. But I feel like the older generation was probably more like hesitant.
So hurt?
Yeah, like they're like, I don't want you recording me or like something like that in that sense, like for their privacy.
I had an issue with one thing that I didn't have sympathy for was some teachers like saying this wasn't part of my job. I'm like, well, if at the heart of it you want to teach and help youth, it doesn't fucking matter what vehicle it is. You just adapt.
You go
that
with the flow.
bugged me. I'm like, you just go with the flow. You said you like teaching. You know what you're getting yourself. It's hard. It's one of the hardest things to do. I'm watching Floor trying to do it. I don't really feel sympathy that you gotta go on the internet. Like, just
yeah.
You have to adapt.
You have to adapt to it because I'm like, no one saw this coming, but I'm like, you just have to adapt because if not, the thing is like, it's either we don't adapt and the kids don't learn, and when you stop their progress there, or you adapt and you try to figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's either or. But then I'm like,
how much instruction did you guys get
for
to do virtual stuff?
Not that much.
Every man for himself. Go for it.
So it's like the younger people were taking like the assets. Like this is how you put an assignment on. Like I was helping with that.
Screen
like
sharing, how to put documents, how to mute people, how to whatever.
How to do all that, but like it's legit.
How many hours would you guys do a day?
Of what?
Teaching.
Online teaching. So like let's say. So the issue is like I'll try to do like a session a week, like an hour long, just because once you like consistency matters, but you can't overwhelm children, because then like at least for my students, like I felt like if I was there every single day, like they wouldn't show up. Yeah, but then at the same time, only like the same 5 students would show up.
Even once a week.
Even once a week. So like retention
is hard. Did you think about 3 times a week, or is that too much for them?
I'm teaching science, so as a science teacher, I was like, I'm gonna push it back a little bit just because I want you guys to focus on English and math, which is like, you can learn science if you know how to read and do math.
So if you were probably English is probably the most important out of that one.
Yeah. Because
it's probably the most boring, unless you make it fun.
There's some.
Somehow.
Yeah, it's possible, but it takes a lot of like work on the teacher,
because
but if you want
to imagine, so this is how my mind is when I'm trying to teach, and mine's in a weird, I guess more of a business setting, and I think about, okay, what are maybe kids interested in that they think it's dope. So my mind right now goes into writing. Like, yeah, writing's boring. However, if you get good at writing, you can write movies. Think about that, kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh snap!
Like
you can write rap lyrics. You can write these things if you're literate enough. And then maybe start opening up their minds that way. Like, I'm starting to get kids here, like, hey, do you have a job? I'm like, no, I don't have a job, but I can do an internship. You like training? No. Okay, well, maybe my internship has nothing to do with training. So my mind went to, fine, let's think about business idea. You like money?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, think of an idea. You're going to pitch it to me. I'm going to tell you if it's dope or if it's whack. And I'm going to critique you on your presenting skills. I'm going to teach you, I'm going to critique you on your plan. And if you suck, we're going to come back to it and I'll teach you each one of those steps. I'm like, maybe we convert school.
Yeah, I feel like
on topics like that.
Yeah, but also it's engaging too. So like every kid's not gonna like the same thing.
I'm gonna teach you how to do fireworks. Don't tell anyone. We're science, but I'm gonna teach you how to do fireworks, right?
Like if you could like play with the boundaries of like education, I feel like it could be more successful.
Okay, so we'll wrap up quick soon. I imagine most schools are not gonna go back in the fall. What is your feel or take and strategy for that?
So for at least for New York, the DOE is planning to go back, but it's gonna be like you're gonna be 6 feet apart, like following like social distancing rules and guidelines. But that becomes difficult.
Do you feel in danger?
Somewhat, but like I'm younger
You don't care.
So it's like one of those things.
I'm down for the fight.
I'm down for the fight. So I was just like, if I have to go, I'll go. Like I'm like,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I'm like, I'll be
You can
fine.
imagine if you're older, you might be
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Yeah. So definitely, like, it does put like older workers in risk.
Yeah.
Also, people at home too, because you have to think of it like this. Like at the end of the day, you're sending children to school, but
Oh, but
they
they're
live
gonna
with
bring
other
it
people.
home.
They're gonna bring it home. So if you live with multiple people who
I mean,
have
that's-
underlying conditions,
That's what I'm gonna be in because we're gonna have a infant, a
Yeah.
newborn. Do I send my kid to school? I don't know yet.
it's-
However, Lucas fucking crushed it on the iPad. He'll do his work way faster because it's on the iPad.
it's because he's like, let me get it done. It's
He's like, well, I try
technically-
to make him like make it feel like it's a game.
But that's
or
what good
competition.
Good teaching comes
But
in.
I'm like, I like teaching too, and Flora likes teaching, so
Yeah.
it's like
That's-
we're blessed. But imagine other parents, like what?
It's difficult though, cause like some parents also too don't know how to
Or
read.
not literate.
Yeah, so then you're
They
like,
don't know what. Yeah.
or don't know basic math, so you're just like, how can they help their child? One of those things.
Yeah.
It's just like a cycle.
I just see it as there's gonna be people who fall off a lot. I'm scared too, where the kids that are like in high school are gonna blame 2020 for the rest of their life. Oh, that year if I could have done that.
In high
And
school,
like,
though?
oh my god.
But I feel like for high school students, I feel like you're more independent.
I'm,
this is-
I'm thinking about like the senior, about to, like or people or the freshmen that were trying to go,
Yeah, but
and then they just like they were kind of motivated, and then they just like let it slip. But I'm also excited.
but
for
that's
the
when you take it
fools.
full force and you're like, fuck it, like let
Well,
me
that's
take
me
this.
and you.
Yeah.
So then I'm excited for guys and girls that are really motivated, that are just gonna go, boom,
Yeah,
I'm
but like,
gonna
fuck-
take off.
Just because this is when you make opportunities. Like
Yeah.
when else are you gonna have the time?
I thought it was a super dope conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna make this room. I figured like, dude, we can brainstorm. We didn't really come up with how we can maybe make it better, but maybe that'll be conversation number 2.
Yeah, because right now, like, it's at the individual level.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the
Well,
first step.
okay, the thing that I just popped up in my head, and this would take very motivated people, is like, well, as you as a science teacher, you're like, fine, I'm gonna teach once a week, and then I'm gonna either post that on YouTube or make little mini lessons for high school kids who are
Yeah.
actually motivated. Here's the info. I'm giving you answers to the test that you may need in the future.
Yeah.
And if you want it, look at it.
And it's there. It's there.
So maybe that's one way to at least help motivated kids.
Yeah. Like the ones who like research something up, like I need to figure this out. They look it up
Yeah.
because we're in the era of the internet and YouTube, where sometimes it's like if you have
That's
the
where we
motivation.
spend all of our time anyway.
Yeah. So like instead of going to look at your newest vlog,
Yeah.
go to learn some
Or
math.
1-on-1.
Yeah. Like it doesn't like you don't have to alienate both and separate both,
Yeah.
but like just manage your time.
That was my strategy with Lucas. I'm like, look, you do your homework and you finish it, we can go play 3 hours of video games. If you don't do it, you get
Yeah.
0. So what do you want? Alright, I'm gonna crush this shit right here.
Yeah. He's
So
like,
he
"Let me
would
just get-"
fucking jam in half an hour, and I would, I would make him like, look, dude, you gotta focus. If you
Yeah.
focus, we can get this done fast. We can finish 5 assignments.
Yeah.
So I would stay with him, and as soon as he started like not paying attention, dude, you said you're gonna focus. Come on.
But that's that one-on-one the children need though.
That's yeah, that's not
That's
really
what I
fair.
said.
That's more lucky.
Yeah.
All right, tight. That was cool.
Yeah.